Welcome back to Women Empowerment Wednesday. So today's guest, we have the beautiful Juliana, who I had the pleasure of meeting through her event, which was the Baddest in the Biz. So I was actually a panelist at her beautiful event, her and her business partner. So she'll be able to talk a little bit about that. But let us know a little bit about you, your journey, and what you do.
Yeah, so my name is Juliana Garcia. I am a mom, a wife, a brand ambassador, a business owner. I am founder of inspiHER Events. I am co-founder of Baddest in Biz, and I am the co-founder of Windy City Event Source.
Okay.
So I do a lot in the event space, and I'm very passionate about pouring into other women and inspiring them to dig deep and do the work to show up as the best version of themselves.
I absolutely love all that. I didn't even know the list was that long, y'all, but she does a lot. And I did see the brand ambassador stuff on TikTok,
Yes.
So I did sign up. I'm like, okay, let me see what Juliana is on. Becoming a mom, how did that shift your perspective in entrepreneurship and your success?
You know, becoming a mother gave me a complete different outlook on what success actually is.
Okay.
And owning a business, obviously you want the financial gain, and you want to have the flexibility to just own and do. But when you have a child, success really is being able to drop them off at school and pick them up.
Yes.
Being able to take them to the library at 1 p.m.
Yep.
You know, being able to attend anything that they're invited to, because you have that flexibility.
Yes.
And you have that time, and you're not just dropping them off and then going to work and missing out on the bigger things in their life.
Exactly. And how old is your baby?
She's 3.
Oh.
She's 3, so she still needs and requires a lot of attention and a lot of time.
Yes, and that's huge, like you said, to be there for the important moments, for the home mom moments,
Yes.
the field trips, all that stuff matters.
Yes.
It really does. So how has motherhood made you stronger and more intentional just as a business owner?
I value my time a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
I am more intentional. Like, intentional is one word that I carry with me, because if it's gonna take me away from spending time with her or doing anything with her, it has to be worth it.
Yep.
So I'm very, very intentional on how I spend my time.
Okay, and that's a very good one. Time management is extremely
Yes.
important. So with being a new mother, has it increased your reason why and given you a deeper purpose?
It definitely has strengthened my purpose, because now I have someone who's gonna grow up and look at mom. I want to be her role model. I don't want her to look at any of her friends, any celebrities, any influencers, and be like, oh, I want to be like that. I want her to see what I've been able to build and be like, I want to be like my mom.
Wow.
Like, my mom figured it out. My mom did it. And it's just so important that I carry that with me in every decision I make.
And I absolutely love that. And you guys may not know Juliana, but she is absolutely just a ray of sunshine. She walks in a room, she's sitting here smiling. You just feel the genuineness. So for you to want to be your daughter's role model, you're putting great people out in the world. I love that. But yes, definitely important, because they do see, even if they don't speak on it, they see everything that you do.
Yeah.
So I love that, how you're building your business and your brand, and you're still present, because that's important.
Yes.
So what has surprised you most with growing your business and your little one at the same time?
That it's possible.
Okay.
That it's possible. I had this different vision for myself.
Okay.
When I was younger, that I would go to college, get a master's degree. I would put off marriage and kids, because I saw having a child as is it going to set me back? Am I going to be able to have a career? And when I had her, and and I had the opportunities to start and grow businesses, I'm like, it's possible. I want to do it even more.
Yeah.
I'm more driven and capable, and that's what I want any woman to know. If you don't have kids now, or you're putting it off, or you're unsure, because not everybody has a village. And I have a very limited village, but we make it work.
Yeah.
So if you were to tell me oh, you know, you're gonna go on to do all these things, but you're gonna have a child, I'd be like, oh,
What?
a what? Okay, because I was a stay-at-home mom.
Okay.
You know, that was the plan. My husband's like, look, just focus on motherhood and take care of yourself, and you know, when she's in school and you're ready, figure out that next move.
I love that.
So, and yeah, that was, you know, that was the plan. And I will say, being a stay-at-home mom was a lot harder than running a business with a child. That's my giveaway. I hold that dear, because she's my purpose, but I just didn't want to lose my identity. I didn't want to just be a mom. And it's okay if you don't want to just be a mom. Like, you can have your own ambitions and you can build your own life.
Right. So you had a lot of great key points in
Yes.
this. So the first one is, like she said, you can build a business and be a parent. Like you said, a lot of people feel like life stops, and it really doesn't.
No.
Like, your baby just grows with you and becomes so much of a part of you that you don't even realize, like, okay, you know, you're going to this business meeting or you're going wherever, and it's like you have your little one with you, and it doesn't stop anything. It doesn't stop traveling. It doesn't stop anything, guys. So if you want to be a mom and you think that's going to be a holdup or a setback, it will be an adjustment. We will say that.
Yes.
And it won't be easy at first. However, I promise you'll manage. She just said you'll manage. I'm 33, and my son just turned 14 in June. And it's like, you know, I had him at 18. You just figure it out.
That's it. You have to figure it out. You'll make a way.
You'll always make a way. And like she also mentioned, like, having a village is important, extremely important, whether it's a big village or a small village. But use that village. Like, don't feel bad, because at the same time, you don't want to lose yourself in the process. It's beautiful that you were a stay-at-home mom. That's not easy either. Like, that's probably harder than having a regular job. I know myself, I wouldn't be able to do it. So I commend all stay-at-home moms, because I feel like you don't get enough credit. Like, you have to take care of the baby all day. You're looking at the same four walls. You're cooking, you're cleaning, grocery shop. Like, it's a lot. Definitely don't take that lightly, guys. Listen to that. You can do it, but just have patience.
And be graceful.
Yes.
Be graceful with yourself.
Exactly. Okay, so before we go off on that topic, because I just love that, because it's you don't get enough credit, seriously. So I commend you, seriously. I give you flowers. So with motherhood, how do you feel like it affects the way that you lead, create, and then just serve your business overall?
You know, I'm gonna circle back to the word intentional. Everything I do has to have a purpose, and it has to make sense. Anybody that I do business with has to be understanding that my time is just as valuable.
Yes.
You know, I'm flexible now, more so because I do work with a lot of women who are mothers. So we'll be like, hey, you know, I can jump on this call at 12. I have to do this, I have to do that, I gotta take them here, there. And I'm like, okay, I understand.
Right.
But at the same time, I expect the same thing. You know, it was funny but not funny. Deanna and I were in a meeting one time. You know, we had met up, we were working on something, and we're like, okay, this is when we were in the process of planning the Baddest Biz.
Okay.
So we were like, okay, we're focused. And then like 30 minutes later, I get a call that I have to pick up my daughter from school because she got sick.
And it happens.
And I'm like, okay, I have to go. And she's like, okay, don't worry. So, you know, we'll readjust. And that's important to have, to not only put that like responsibility on yourself, like, you know what, this meeting's important, but I gotta go get my baby. And have people who understand that, you know, I'm flexible with you, be flexible with me, and we'll figure it out.
Exactly. And that's huge. It really is huge. And like, because I've been there, it's like, okay, bring your baby with you. Like, we'll figure it out. You know, if you need to come here for a session, you need to bring your baby, your toddler, I got some snacks. We'll figure it out, because being a mom is hard enough as it is, but then being a mom and not supported, you know, in your endeavors is an adjustment too. Okay, so what does balance mean to you?
I love this question. I don't believe that true balance exists.
Okay.
And I say that because there's always a trade-off.
Right.
Balance is very seasonal. It comes and goes. There are days where I'm like, wow, like I got everything I needed done. I was attentive at home. I spent time with my daughter. I've caught up on my businesses. And then there's days where I'm like, like struggling to just figure out like what needs my attention right now.
Yes.
And you're pulled in a million directions. So for me, like ideally, balance is those days that I feel like I was able to pour enough into each, of the areas of my life, but I'm not burnt out at the end of the day.
Yes.
So
that's a great feeling to have.
Yes, I will say balance is hard. Balance it's challenging and it comes and goes.
And I agree with that because again, like I've been a business owner for 6 years. How long have you been a business owner?
A long time. I like on and off. I've had different business ventures. I would like to just say like maybe about 8-9 years.
Okay, 8-9 years. We're almost at a decade. But it's true. Balance is hard, and sometimes you get it. Sometimes you're checking off all those boxes off your list, and then other days it's just like I haven't done anything. Like let me start over tomorrow. So I definitely feel you on it's seasonal, and I didn't think about that, and that's very, very true. So what does it look like when things aren't balanced? Like how do you give yourself that grace to keep moving forward?
I've had to learn within myself how I feel, how I act, how I move, and how I carry myself when things are not balanced.
Okay.
Normally when things are not balanced for me, I have to remain graceful, but I also have to tell myself, okay, you need to slow down. Let's take a day off, which doesn't happen often, unfortunately. Right. But I have to say, like, you need to just regroup, and what I do is like I'll write a list of like all the things I need to do with like the different businesses or different events or at home or like and I have to tell myself like let's figure it out. What needs my immediate attention, what can wait, because I just like to get things done quick. And a lot of times like if I feel unbalanced and I notice it in the way I'm not making cautious decisions then at this point, I may be moody, I could be irritable, and I never want that to pour into my home life. Okay.
So it's like having those boundaries too is important.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
How do you honor your boundaries in business while honoring your role as a mother?
What I've had to do to honor my boundaries as a business owner and a mother is learn when to just cut off work.
That's hard.
And that is, I've
hard
with this because when you own a business and a lot of your work is at home, you have your laptop, your iPad, your phone, I became more frustrated this year with feeling like technology has people feeling like they have direct access to you 24/7.
Right.
And I remember one day, like a client called me and I'm getting ready to make dinner. Like I don't have business hours because every day looks different for me.
Right.
Everything is different from day to day. So I had a client call me and I was gonna, I was cooking dinner. I'm like, I'll call him back in a little bit. Then I got, I ate and then I wanted to take a shower and he called me again. And I remember, like, he left me a voice, he did leave me a voice, but he was really just trying to follow up. And I remember being so frustrated and like feeling defeated in a way. I'm like, well, kind of like, what am I doing or not doing where those boundaries are not in place, where like, I don't have that cut off.
Right.
People want access to me sometimes 24/7, and what I've had to do is give myself like that boundary of like, okay, when my daughter's in school, which is why I'm here now at this time.
Right. Yay.
I drop off my daughter. I'm like, I have from 8:30 to 12 to be intentional.
And that's what you specifically said.
I said intentional. I make sure that any calls I have, any meetings I want to set up, any interviews, anything is in that time frame. And obviously that doesn't always work out where it's just those hours. Sometimes, in the evening, but then I make sure that my daughter's already in bed. So sometimes I do have to have late nights.
Yeah.
And it's being flexible in order to honor those boundaries. I also have to be flexible too.
Okay. And so that makes a lot of sense. And I feel like it's just across the board. Some people don't know what boundaries are. So some people will call you at 11, 12 o'clock at night because I have clients. And some people, your clients sometimes become your family, so it's like it's okay. But it is important to say, okay, like at this time, like I'm done. Because I felt myself like so many times, like you said, if you work from home, you got the laptop, the phone. It's like it's so easy to just pick up like, okay, let me just work on this for 10 minutes. And then 2 hours later, like the baby's not asleep or whatever the case may be. So it does happen, so boundaries are important.
Yes.
So how do systems and habits help protect your peace, purpose, and your motherhood?
you have to have systems in place. You know, transitioning from a stay-at-home mom, our days were whatever we wanted to make it. Like, I would plan them out. We were always going places and doing things, and I always kept her active. And then that started to shift when it's like, okay, well, now I have one business venture. That one business venture became two. And then I'm like, okay, I need to have a system where, luckily she started school this August. So now I base, like I said, my time around when she's in school and when she's not, making sure that I'm keeping myself on track, but also not getting like deep into my work where I'm neglecting any other areas.
Okay.
So it's checking
makes a lot of
yourself.
sense. Okay. Do self-checks, guys. That's
Yes.
what she's telling you know. So your first year of motherhood and entrepreneurship, what advice do you have to give to other mothers who may be going through it or thinking about it?
I would say to remain graceful and know that you don't have to figure it out all at once.
Yes.
You are literally learning how to be a mother. You are more than likely still in that stage where you may not feel like yourself after having a child. Let's be honest, like, it took me a long time to feel like I never went back to feeling like myself, but I made sure that I felt better than I did before. And I did that by pouring into myself and, you know, having a system that works for me where it's like I'm going to the gym, I'm working on my business, like I'm journaling, and just know that it's not a race. You take your time because you're literally building two different things at once. You're building, you know, you're experiencing motherhood, you're learning how to take care of a child, take care of yourself, and then it's like running a business in itself is overwhelming.
Yes, it is.
So when you throw a child into that,
it's like you just want to throw all the cards.
It's like it's a whole new business. You
Yes.
know, it is like they're your boss. Like, they have you on their timeline. You know, you gotta feed them, change them, bathe them, take them
on
out,
their time,
take them to school. So it's like systems are important, and just knowing when you try something and regroup. You know, find what works.
Yeah, because what works for one may not work for the other.
Exactly.
So you have to figure out, just like in marriage, whatever, what works for you.
Yes, and don't compare yourself to anyone, especially on TikTok. TikTok sells this like dream life of what motherhood is or entrepreneurship is, and it's like, it's not realistic.
Right.
Like, it's not. There's days where it's so hard that I'm like, okay, what am I doing? Like, I'm at a loss for words sometimes because I'm like, oh wow, like my to-do list is so long and I need to prioritize. And at the end of the day, like, these businesses I'm building is for her to benefit.
Right.
So it's like, I'm like, okay, well, I need to pour into here because at the end of the day, like, it's to benefit her in the long run. But it's like, you know, picking and choosing
what to do. See, and for me, it's Instagram that makes me feel that way. Like, when I see people on Instagram, it makes me feel like, am I behind? Like, or even like with people's fitness journeys. But TikTok, I feel like it's more like behind the scenes where you kind of see it. But that's interesting you said that. And then it's also important, and we're going to touch on this later, not to compare yourself. If you're a mom, don't compare yourself to someone who's not a mom in their journey.
Yes.
And I feel like one of my clients had mentioned it, that, you know, you see all these fitness people on Instagram. A lot of people get surgeries, you know, and then claim that they went to the gym. And then you can't compare someone who hasn't had kids to a mom who has had like 4 kids. Like, your journey is not going to be the same. Your recovery is not going to be the same. So comparison is the thief of all joy. You know, I get caught up in that mindset, and it's like, okay, like, Victoria, come out of it. You can't compare your chapter 30 to someone's chapter 50. Like, so how has motherhood helped you with consistency as far as like a shift in your mindset, your routine as a mom?
Consistency is important when your time is limited.
Very.
So I always say, and some people disagree, we all have the same 24 hours in a day. We do. We have 24 hours in a day. And what you do with it, it's up to you. And that's what makes or breaks the consistency that you're able to pour into a business. So I will say, like, you just have to be mindful of your time and
intentional.
And it all comes back to being intentional. Yep. Like, that is the word of the year, intentional. Like, I'm very mindful of any projects I pick up, any clients I take on, any events I host. Like, it has to make sense.
Yes, I definitely agree. So how has being committed to your business while being a mom worked out for you?
You know, it's always a learning process. There's no blueprint on how to be a mother and how to be a business owner at the same time. No. You know, I'm learning to do both in real time. You know, and I'm learning to navigate a lot all at once. Okay. So I will say, like, I'm still learning, and every day has its challenges. Like, you know, I got up this morning. I got up before my daughter. My husband's out of town, and she woke up a little earlier than expected, and I'm trying to get ready, and then I'm like, okay, now I have to readjust. Okay, let's get you ready. Let's, you know, do what I need to do to make sure you're ready for school, and then I'll get myself ready.
Okay, and that definitely makes sense. So what does showing up for Juliana looks like?
Showing up for myself?
Yes.
I show up for myself in making sure I'm taking care of myself.
Okay.
That is the one thing that I've been more strict on myself about. Okay. Of just making sure that I am going to the gym, drinking water, journaling, I'm reading, I'm setting time aside for myself outside of motherhood, outside of being a wife, outside of being a business owner. Like, there's days where I tell my husband, like, look, I just need to reset. Like, I just want some time to myself. Exactly. I'm an only child. Oh. So that has affected a lot of the way that I do things. Okay. And sometimes you just want to be by yourself. Yes. And you just want to, like, have that peace.
I agree. And have that moment, again, like you said, to just breathe.
Like,
let me just breathe in peace. Yes. Please. Yes. How do you deal with comparison, especially when it's entrepreneurs who aren't mothers?
So I believe that as women, we unintentionally compare ourselves. It's hard not to. Like, we touched on Instagram and TikTok. Like, you're scrolling and you just see what everybody else has going on, where they are in their journey. And something that I've had to tell myself, and it's been a key mindset of mine, is that comparison comes from a scarcity mindset. Okay. When you compare yourself, you are putting out to the universe that you don't believe there's enough in this world for you. Okay. You don't believe there's enough clients. You don't believe there's enough success. You don't believe there's enough love. So I try not to compare myself, because I believe that there's an abundance. Like, I will get mine. Like I said, obviously sometimes it intentionally happens where you're like, you know, you see somebody further along and you're just like, wow. But I tell myself and I remind myself that I am doing this while juggling motherhood, and that comes with a lot more responsibilities. Not to say that whatever they're balancing or juggling isn't challenging, right? But it's a lot more to carry when you have a child and a family. And this is not to say, like, you know, if you are a business owner and you are considering having a child, like I said, like, don't not have a child because you want to have a business and be successful, because you can do both. But just know that the journeys are very different. Yeah. Like, I'm running a race that they're not running. Yep.
We're on two different marathons.
We're on two
and
different
that's okay,
marathons,
because we may be going the same direction, but it's just two different waves.
Yes, and we'll get there in our different ways at our different times, and that's
when you're supposed to. Definitely. So then, what do you wish people without children understood more about building a business while having kids?
I would say that if you are a business owner and you don't have children yet, but you know, you have friends or family that do, or like maybe you have like a hairstylist or a nail tech that has children, you know, just to be mindful of any time they may have to cancel last minute. Right. Or maybe, you know, reach out and just, you know, send a message like, hey, you're doing great. Like, women who own businesses and have children, like, they need support. They need that reminder that they're doing great. And like I mentioned, like, don't put off starting a family just because you have a business.
Very true.
Which I said that like a couple times, but I want to reiterate that because there was a time when I was like, should I have another kid? Can I have another kid? I'm so busy.
Right.
And that was just like a thought I've had in my mind when it's like, could I handle another kid? So it's just going back to like, you can do it. You can do anything, and you just have to move intentionally.
Definitely. So what would you say to like moms or people who they need to do that mindset shift from comparing themselves to being more confident in who they are? I know you mentioned like that's a scarcity mindset. So how would you kind of maneuver or help someone get through that? Because it happens.
It does. When I caught myself comparing myself to others, like I said, I had to shift where it's like, there's enough in this world for me. You know,
and I love that.
There is
That's
enough.
Important.
Like, it doesn't matter if somebody's doing the same thing as you.
Yep.
People will show up for you when they feel that connection to you. And you cannot force it. You cannot fake it. You have to really stop and honor your own journey, because your journey is everything. Your journey is the foundation of everything that you're building.
Yes.
So to compare yourself to somebody else's journey, you're cutting yourself short. You really are. Like, you don't know everything that they've gone through to get to where they are. So it's really like, stay in your own lane and stay focused, because when you're looking this way and that way, like, you're missing everything that's in front of you.
Very true. And again, like, you don't know what they went through. Like, somebody could have been given like, here's $100,000, go start a business. You know, so now they come out with all this lavish stuff, and then you have some people who build it from the ground up with just the money that they have in their bank account. So you just never know. So very, very true. So how do you hold space for both you, the woman you were before motherhood, and then the woman you are now? Because again, like you said, it's important not to lose yourself, your identity, and still, you know, pour into you, because you can't pour from an empty cup.
I saw motherhood as the opportunity to really, I don't want to say rebrand, but essentially, I felt like I was starting from the bottom. You know, when you become, and I gave myself the opportunity. I'm like, you know, I'm not the woman I was before I had a child. Like, I feel more empowered and more confident because, like I said, like, I have someone that looks up to me. Like, even now when I get ready, like, Mommy, can you do my nails? Mommy, can I play with your makeup? Mommy, I love your shoes. You know, so
hype me up.
So she's already in that stage. So for me, it's like the woman I was before her, it was beautiful, and it was a different time in my life, and having her really push me to really move towards the woman I want to become. Because now there's this is a different playing field. You know, if I didn't have her right now, I don't know what I'd be doing. I don't know who I'd be, but now because I have her, it's pushed me to take who I used to be and like really pour into that to make sure that I'm a woman worth looking up to in the future.
I love it. Your daughter is so lucky. Like, she's so lucky. So, as being a mother, motherhood, how does that define success for you beyond the money, the titles, the traditional achievements?
Success as a mother looks completely different. I will say that I hosted a vision board event for women entrepreneurs, and this was a question that I had for them, and everybody's definition was so different.
Yes.
You know, and for me, time is a luxury. The time I get to spend with my daughter, the time we get to travel, the time we get to watch her favorite movie, like, those are the things that I value more. That's success to me. And having the being fortunate enough where I don't have to be gone 9 to 5 every day, because that's rough. Like, I did that before I had her, and I was like, wow, you know, this isn't for me. And I'm very thankful to my husband for allowing me to really just do what I'm passionate about. And that's what success looks like to me. Like, being able to show up, be present, have that time, and like, this is her childhood. Like, I am in charge of making sure that she has an amazing childhood, you know, just the way my mom did for me. And my mom was a single mom. And I'm like, well, what's my excuse? Like, I have a husband, I have,
Mhm.
you know, my mom to help me. Like, I'm gonna make the most out of it.
Yep, and we only get one shot. Like
Yeah.
in their childhood, we get the time that we get, the present moment. So, like you said, being intentional.
Mhm.
And like what you guys find, like with being a mother or different mothers, like success rarely is about the money.
Mhm.
Like it's about the time, like you mentioned, the being able to be a room mom, you know, being able to go on field trips,
Mhm.
being able to go to a soccer game. You know, those little things make a difference, especially in their childhood, because you don't want them to look up resenting you like, well, dang, like mom was always at work and never made it to anything. And that stuff, you know, as we know through therapy and things like that, follows like kids and grown people like all throughout their lives. So it's very huge. What does empowerment mean to you pertaining to be a mommy?
You know, the whole experience of becoming a mom is such a beautiful spiritual journey. That's why I'm saying, like, the woman I was before I became a mom, it's like I'm in awe of like how I was able to take motherhood and just use that as my empowerment. You know, it's like mothers are just amazing.
Yes.
They do it tired, they do it sick, they do it depressed, they do it no matter what the circumstance is, and that in itself is empowering.
Yeah.
Knowing that, like, I have no other options. Women are amazing.
We are. Moms are amazing. Like, we give birth. Like, we give life. Like, I was thinking about that the other day. Like you said, it's a spiritual journey. So what legacy or what does that look like for your daughter?
I want my daughter to have anything and everything she wants. You know, that's how my mother raised me, and like I said, as a single mother. And that's why I'm always like, if she was able to put me through private school, take me on vacations, make sure that I had anything and everything that I want, like, I have that ability to do the same and more.
Yeah.
So, you know, the legacy I want to leave behind is, you know, hopefully a business, or at least be able to be like a resource to her, because I have the college education, I have the business experience, I have the tools and resources to hand off to her to make sure that she gets a head start. And a lot of people may be a little weary of, like, you know, the kids who get handed things, but it's like, why not? I worked hard for this. I worked hard. Why wouldn't I work hard and hand her off and make her life easier?
Yep. And I think with that, like, there's a balance. Like, okay, we can give, but then also teach them to work for it too.
Yes.
So I think, like you said, it's not a problem, like saying, you know, letting her experience life, like taking trips and stuff is a luxury. But you're doing a great job. Mom, you did a great job. Because again, like, it's so many sacrifices that we do as mothers that we don't realize is a sacrifice, because we're just so used to like the day to day getting through things. But really, like you said, we're out here doing it tired, sad, like happy, angry, like hungry, because sometimes we don't get to eat, like a lot of different things. So with your, you know, your journey, what are you most proud of?
I'm proud of the fact that I will fail and I will start all over again, and I have no shame.
Yes.
I have
Because you really have to fail your way up to success.
You do.
You have. And then, so what would you say to a mom who feels like she has to choose between being an entrepreneur or being a mom? So following her dreams or motherhood.
If you're a mother and you feel like you have to choose between motherhood and chasing your dreams, you are selling yourself short. You can do both. Just like you're learning to be a mother, you can learn to follow your dreams and find and create what works for you as far as your balance, your structure, your schedule. And, you know, one day our kids are going to grow up. And I know for me, I want my daughter to know that I went after every dream I've ever had, and I've failed and I've succeeded and I've learned, and that's a part of life. I don't want her to ever think that she should play it safe.
No.
And, you know, you don't want to have that resentment when you're older, because what happens, and I've seen it, that people become mothers and they put motherhood first before careers, before education, before their dreams.
Self-care even.
And self-care, and they eventually, you know, your kids grow up, they move out of the house, and now they're like, okay, now what do I do? And you know, you don't want to be, it's never too late to chase your dreams, but you could have done it along the way at least a little bit and figured it out, so that when you do have the time to pour more into it, you're a little more prepared.
Yes, and I love that, because that's very true, because they look up and, like you said, what's next? Like, so many moms don't know what to do, because their kids was their entire life, and obviously we raise our kids to be great people and to go out there in the world. So like you mentioned, like, you're never too old to chase your dreams, and just keep going forward, for sure. So, thank you for coming on the interview. You've been absolutely amazing. I know that she's helped so many mothers out there, or future mommies who are, you know, brewing up, getting ready to be a mom. Just letting you guys know that you can still build your business. You can still be successful, and do it with one child, triplets, quadruplets, whatever you got going on. You will make it work, I promise.
Yes.
But for the viewers, you know, if they wanted to reach out to you for any of your multiple businesses that you have going on, or just like advice about being a new mother and running your businesses, how can they get in contact with you?
The most efficient way probably right now is through Instagram. They could just send me a message, and then from there we can kind of figure out the best way to communicate. Some people like texting, some people like phone calls, some people like emailing. So they can find me on Instagram. My personal Instagram is julianagarcia.xo.
Yes, and so I'll have that information below too. But again, thank you for coming on here. I know that you've inspired me, first of all, but I know that you've inspired other people, because you do so much, and you're handling it with grace, and you handle it with a toddler. Like, that's not easy. Being a stay-at-home mom is not easy. Like, everything you listed is not easy, but she's doing it, looks great, continuing to flourish, and she's continuing to empower other people. So, and so if they wanted to find out about like all the events and things that you do, they can follow that page too, right?
I would say you can list all my social media pages. It'll probably be easier just to list them.
And then you just pick off whatever
pick whichever business you're interested in. I do it all. If you need servers and bartenders for your upcoming event, I have Windy City Event Source. If you want to attend an event that's more self-care, creativity, connection, I have inspiHER events. And if you're a business owner and you want to connect with other business owners, we have the Baddest in Biz. So
I love it.
I have a couple options.
A lot of options. And then again, just being a mother, that's number one. Like, that'll be number one. Reach out to Juliana if you want to know how to be a great mom.
Yes, please feel free to message me. I'm always open to being there for another mom or another business owner, because it's not easy and it gets lonely. So however I can help.
Yes, I love that, and I'm looking forward to collabing with you. So thank you.
Thank
Give me
you.
a hug. And thank you.
Of course,
so
of course.
as you guys all know, like, if you want to come on the show to talk about business, again, motherhood, a topic that whatever is near and dear, you just want to get in here, girl talk, you don't know who you can inspire with your story, because we all have one. And when we go through different testimonies, like, the purpose of the testimony is to be able to help someone either prevent them from going through it or get them out, because mental health is a real thing, as we all know, and a lot of people don't speak on, you know, things that they're going through out of embarrassment, and you know, time is hard. So that'll be another video, but thank you guys for coming on my show, and we will see you next Wednesday.